So I'm pretty sure you guys didn't have a break room in the last place. It was also the office, yes?
Yeah, I think it was the bathroom slash break room. So we've upgraded.
Listen, the upgrade is like next level upgrade. Next level upgrade. Would you agree that this is the definition of next level upgrade here?
Yeah, I mean I mean for Guy it's really special. A lot. Time and effort and work and blood, sweat, tears. Any number of things. For the business, one thing, but also for the wrestling room. I mean, the wrestling room is. I was telling Russ, who you talked to, who doesn't really understand the wrestling world yet. I think we'll continue to kind of catch him up to speed. But I said this is this is a pretty big moment in his life. Get your own room, to get your own mats. A lot of people don't have that experience. So it's special. I think it's more than just wrestling. I think it's a number of things that kind of led to something like this. And it's, I think it's a testament to Guy and his dedication to the sport, to his family, to the business. I mean, there's so many things there that I think make this a lot bigger than just a wrestling room to him. To have his own brand that he created on the mat, to be able to share with both his sons and our teams is just, I think it's really sentimental and to me as well.
You've been with these guys for how many years now? I mean, I'm not even saying from like when you're a St. Ed's guy, and Gus is a youth guy when you're at St. Ed's, right? Because you missed each other, but Guy's always been around as a coach.
Yes. So, I mean, Jeff Leonard was a guy that kind of brought me into the program because he was kind of helping out a little bit at West Shore. And I was a wrestler and I'd be cutting weight and Leonard's like, hey, you got to help out with the little kids. And so I knew Gus running around, since he was a little guy. So I've been around Guy for 20 plus years. So it's been a long time. As far as working, I remember when I was, in 2008 when the market sucked, Guy was kind enough to hire me to just do kind of menial labor. And then I came on kind of full-time, more of a business capacity, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, officially.
I like that when you bring that up, everything, the grit and the blue collar and stuff. He hires you as someone to work in his warehouse, right? And my favorite thing was I was doing the Ironman broadcast with Willie Saylor, and Dover makes the finals, right? And he was in here making wipes, at the old gritty dungeon place. Not here, right? And my thing about that is like that's it. That is your guys' story. Yeah. And for me to be able to tell that story on a national broadcast, that's awesome, right? That's like what you guys are.
Right.
I love that.
And it's the relationships that go with it too. I mean, this is when that guy hired me originally, we didn't have all the fancy stuff we do now. So it was like literally hand cranking one label at a time. And, I think it's a lot of things have grown with the company, but, someone like the Dovers, Sammy, Guy talks about him a ton. He came up through a program, and literally last week I'm texting with you, having dinner with the Dovers, the parents. So it's, it's a lifelong bond. Just because your kid graduates doesn't mean that, you're not part of the West Shore family or the St. Ed's family or even just the wrestling family, period. I think those relationships in wrestling are really what I think make the sport so special for me too.
This is such an organic thing. We're just looking at the storylines that you guys, whenever you're trying to market to a business that Russ has put together and you guys are putting together right now as a plan, right? And it's got Guy's holding Max. He burned, the candle at both ends. He was a police officer by night, and then he would work during the daytime and go to practice and sleep, 3-4 hours a day. But it's such an organic thing. What's it like telling that story and it being such an organic thing that you've seen come up and we're a part of?
So for the longest time, Guy really shied away from the story. He didn't want to tell it. It's not, no one cares. And I'm like, I disagree, man. I think so I've always been one to say push that because people like to know that about companies, about brands. And I think Guy really saw it at work when him and I went to New York City, went to that packaging conference. It was pretty much all industry professionals there, and then two jock wrestler meathead wrestling coaches from Cleveland, Ohio, in a room in New York City with all these people. And I think we told the story a couple times, and at first people were like, oh, that's great. Then they tell the story and they're like, that's awesome. Like, I think he kind of got validation from people who would be interested in the story. And it is kind of like you said, the American dream. I mean, as far as being able to do what he did, start from humble beginnings, create it out of need, and just to see how it grows it's a really cool, authentic. That's the biggest thing I think is authentic. When you tell people the story, like, man, he's a wrestling coach. He started for this reason, and now it's this. And obviously there's a lot more to it. All the obstacles that he had to kind of overcome. But I think it is just a heartwarming story that really encapsulates the American dream.
You look at, like, Gus is out there. He was just talking to me about all the hours you guys put in. 21 days in a row, you didn't have a day off, and they were 8 to 10 hour days.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
That's tough. And you and I talked, you and I did the Zoom thing, right? We did the video conference, which doesn't do it for me. This feels like amazing to me today, by the way. Just like getting out and interacting with you guys and seeing it, and it's normal to me, and I like shaking hands and
of course,
just being around you guys. But like, that was a tough stretch, man.
Yeah, so we had COVID going on. We were incredibly busy because of COVID. We were moving businesses, locations. I mean, there was a lot of long days. Dan and I we were meeting literally like 5:30. Hey, let's meet at the warehouse. We'll get things going. And that was just like you could see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you knew it was going to get better. But there was a lot that went into that. But that's what wrestlers do, right? Give us something tell us we can't do something, and say, oh yeah, we'll see about that. So that's usually how it operates.
I heard some crazy numbers today. The numbers were times 10 to grow this business, times 10 from Russ. Mm-hmm. When he told you guys those numbers and exponential growth, is that something where do you feel like Guy kind of, we got something here?
Yeah.
What do you think of that when you hear that number? We can grow.
So it's
you guys can grow by times 10.
I think the product and the company is good enough that we could do that. Obviously in due time. But someone like Russ, I think, really opens those doors. And hey, how would it feel to grow your business 10 times? Everyone likes the idea of it, but you don't really know what that roadmap looks like. And I think Russ is someone that's able to give you those benchmarks and able to give you those milestones on what needs to happen in order to do. We always talk about big boy business. This is next level. So the idea of it's really cool, but it's just like, how do you get there? Managing getting into a Walmart or a Target or even like a Dick's Sporting Goods. Like, how do you do that? And I think Russ is with his connections, with his experience, and then the other part is just like the education that Dan and I get in the office every day with Russ. We try to be like a sponge because he has so much to offer. He's seen so many different life cycles of businesses. So it's a great opportunity for Dan and I to really learn all we can from someone like Russ.
I got to get with Dan the man today. The turnaround just as far as being limber like you guys are, and able to just like adapt. It's the wrestler in you, and I get that. But Dan designed the label for the hand sanitizer in a day. You had a hand sanitizer basically in under a week.
Yeah.
You had a production line. That, Charlie, not a lot of people can do that.
Yeah.
It's a testament to you guys and your problem solving. And obviously you're a Cornell grad. Your warehouse manager's a UVA grad. You have this brilliant designer in Dan. It's just like this crazy team of, I wouldn't want to say misfit toys, but just
absolutely.
I love it though.
Yeah.
What's it like knowing that you guys can get something like that done?
It's awesome. And I know Dan isn't a wrestling guy, so to speak. He did wrestle at Parma back in the day. But he's kind of one of the unsung heroes that allow us to, as far as developing like a label like that on the software that he has, it's not something I can do. I just don't have that skill set. So I think, we're willing to do whatever it takes, and, we'll lift up a 40-foot wrestling mat and do all that stuff. But I think having people that have the technical know-how and just the versatility. Dan brings so much to the company and allows us to do those things. Guys, hey, we have to get this up. And a lot of times I'm like, all right, Dan, what do you need me to do as your sous chef? Because, he's kind of the master chef behind the scenes that's able to make a lot of those things happen. So he's definitely a pillar of the company.
So Russ, I was like, what have you learned about wrestling? Well, not much, basically. I think he just doesn't care, which is fine. But then he then reflected upon it. He's like, oh my God, these wrestling mats. He started telling me the story about how you guys had to move. They only had an overhead crane.
I wasn't here.
They had to move those two 40-foot mats, one-piece Resolite Classics.
Yeah.
with like 7 people, and
Yeah.
Russ being one of them.
So I haven't, I don't even know if I've told Guy this, but the day before, so on Thursday, I don't know, it would have been on Wednesday the game. So on Tuesday, I kind of had to sit down with Russ and I was like, I know that you don't really understand wrestling. I was like, but these mats coming in is like a big deal. Like this is like kind of an iconic moment in Guy's life. So I kind of explained to him and all that. So when the mats were coming, he was starting to get excited about it. Like, he's going to be excited. I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen Guy cry, but this might be one of the few times I see Guy Seiko cry is when, you know, the mats get put in. You know what I mean? It's a big moment. But yeah, Russ he's starting to understand the way we, you know, operate. And I think over time it'll make more and more sense. But, you know, we told him right from the get-go, hey, you know, you're positioning us in such a way to get us into a big box retail, but we never want to lose, you know, those roots in wrestling that we talk about, because it's, you know, it's so important to all of us, but particularly to Guy. You know, that's why he started the company. You know, he attributes all of his successes, you know, as a father, as a husband, as a businessman, as a wrestling coach, to, you know, the sport that gave him so much.
All right, we got to go sneak attack quick on Dan before he gets out of here, and I got to get the story out of him from how he designed the
Okay.
hand sanitizer bottle. All right.
All right.